Hey guys, this is Heather from healthyveganrecipes.net. Okay, today I'm going to show you a really simple cookie recipe, and I am going to use, in place of part of the flour, I'm going to use some hemp protein powder. Now you can do this with all flour and no protein powder at all, or you can try it with different types of protein powder, but the hemp that I'm using has a lot of fiber in it, so you probably want to find a protein powder that's kind of the same texture, and really hemp with fiber are the best proteins for this specific recipe. You can also, if you wanted to use some protein powder but not this type, just use less than what I'm using because it'll be pretty concentrated, and most protein powders are very fine unless they're the hemp with fiber, so they just make a very different texture for your cookie. But anyway, the reason I am using some protein powder in these for Phil is because he works out a lot and he wants to try to build some muscle. It's good for him to try to increase the percentage of protein relative to carbohydrates and fat. So while it's not exactly a whole food, it's processed and it's just the protein part of whatever food is being used there, it's still helpful for certain situations like this. And remember that the building of muscle comes from the workout, not from the protein. The protein is just the support after the fact. But it never hurts to include some of this into a cookie for someone who's trying to put on weight or gain muscle. The other thing is that this is in no way a compensation for these being vegan, because they are perfectly fine with no protein powder. We don't need protein powder for a vegan diet. Plant foods are totally adequate for getting all the protein you need and all the amino acids you need. The reason for the powder is just, like I said, to increase the relative percentage. So it's only if you want to do that, and usually it's only if you're working out. So that said, let's go on with the recipe. You can get more thoughts on protein powder and why I use them if you check out the post that I did earlier this week on healthyeatingstartshere.com. Okay, cookies. So what I'm going to start with is a base of seed butter or nut butter, whatever you like. I'm using sunflower seed, but almond works really nicely as well. You just want something that's going to be neutral flavor because they're cookies. Peanut butter would actually be fairly good in these ones in this case, but I tend to steer clear of peanut just because it has a very strong flavor, and a lot of people are allergic to it. So if you're making these to take to a party or for your kids to take to school or whatever, just be cautious with the peanut. Almond butter is so easy to find these days that I find most people have no problem. To that, I'm going to add some pure unsweetened applesauce. Got to use my muscles because it's not been opened yet. If you want the exact measurements, just head over to the recipe. It'll be on healthyveganrecipes.net. If you're not there already, you can just look under the video for the link, which I will post. So what you want to do with your applesauce and your seed butter or almond butter is mix them together until they're nice and smooth and creamy. And if you're using sunflower seed butter, it's kind of sticky, so you might need to stir it for a little while. Ooh, cashew butter is another really awesome one if you can find it where you live. Okay, coming together really nicely here, nice and smooth. Then we're going to add some vanilla. Okay, along with the vanilla, I've added salt, baking powder, baking soda, cinnamon, carob powder, or you can use cocoa powder if you like it chocolate, and some molasses. I find those flavors go really, really nicely with my hemp protein. So there I'm going to add some of that, as well as some brown rice flour. Now you can use other types of whole grain flours if you like. I just really like the texture of brown rice flour because it makes it a little more cookie-like. With the applesauce and the seed butter, these can tend to get very soft and doughy, more like a muffin. But if I use brown rice flour, it's a little flakier. Now just mix this together until it all comes nice into a cookie dough, and then you're going to put it on a sheet, get them in the oven at 350, and bake them. So there's my dough coming together, and Phil finds these plenty sweet with just the applesauce and the carob powder, which has natural sugars in it. But if you want to make these sweeter, you can add some unrefined sugar. And if you're using cocoa powder, you're definitely going to want to do that because cocoa is bitter and the applesauce isn't enough to counter that. But what I also add in here to sweeten them up a little bit are some dried cranberries. So you can try doing that, or raisins, or chocolate chips if you want. If you're not sure whether or not you're going to like it, just give the batter a taste. It won't be exactly the same as once it's baked in a cookie, but you can get an idea of the sweetness level and whether you like the texture. Okay, there they are, fresh from the oven. They took about 15 minutes, and I did them on a silicone baking liner so that they wouldn't stick. After you get them out of the oven, give them a few minutes to cool because they will be kind of delicate, but then you can break them open and see how nice the texture inside is. They're really nice. I really like the combination of molasses with cranberries with the nuttiness of the hemp protein. So I usually leave these for Phil to eat, but I think I might steal a few. I hope you guys enjoy them. And again, you can try them with protein powder or just with flour. I think a combination of brown rice flour and buckwheat flour will probably give you a really nice texture, similar to the fiber in the hemp protein. The one that I get is from a company in Canada called The Good Seed. I really love them. You can find them online if you're in Canada. If you are in the States, Nativa makes a very similar looking protein that's hemp with a lot of fiber, so you can check them out as well. That's it. Enjoy, and I'll see you again sometime soon.